Hello, welcome back. Tonight I will talk about a book that I have written. It is a short novel called The Raven, and it is one of the few novels that I have written from the beginning, more from the, I don't know, maybe the 7 or the 8 book that I have written, no? And maybe a little earlier too. So it's one of my first novels. At the same time, you know, it is something that that when I saw the book after a time, I thought, oh, why didn't I write the story longer? I felt like the story was too short. At the same time, no, it was, as I've said, the idea of a short novel, the idea of a story. It's very much related to the idea of the storytelling, or the part of the storyline, the storytelling ability of a writer, of course, throughout the book, on a specific thematic. You know, it requires the talent of the writer, not only the idea. It is, I have to say, each book I appreciate the way it comes. At the same time, the Book of the Raven could be continued. No, I could continue the story, but at that time I decided to end it there, or to make a shorter story out of it. And it is still, as I've said, a very beautiful story, a very beautiful book, which has a very interesting thematic as well. The raven, no, the bird raven. It is a very beautiful story as well that I try to tell throughout my book. It is finally intimate books. No, novels are more intimate type of books, which of course I'm aware of that as well. It is a story that it is more related to the author, or to the different parts of the author. So it can be even biographical, or it can be, you know, have different sources. At the same time, as I've said, the raven is a known. It's not like it is a bird. No, it is a specific bird that carries the raven or the crow. No, they're from the same family. It is a specific bird that I'm talking about. That is on the cover, that represents the title of the book and the story behind that. No, that is, well, the title is the title, no? And then, of course, there is the story. So the story can be included in this book, or can be included in other stories, no? So one can write a book where you write different stories put together, and I have books like that as well. So The Raven is finally a story, but it is written in a novel form, on a longer form, but still it is a shorter novel. What I find beautiful are the elements of the raven, of course, and importance it had for me, and what the meaning it has for me as well, from my own experience. Know that the book that I wrote came through a vision, through an idea of mine that I had, and I wanted to give honor to the raven in that meaning. No. By writing the book, it was this element of me honoring back, giving something back for the knowledge that I have received, for that aspect of that, what it was given by me, by the raven, the power of the raven. Of course, you know, we have a subject in books, and they all carry symbolic meaning, and that's the beautiful part of understanding or discovering that meaning for yourself as well. That's the beautiful aspect of the raven. It is a part that still has to be discovered or understood. They say, well, the raven as a bird is a very smart. Of course, we know the raven or the crow are very smart birds. They are very beautiful. They have very strong beak. No, they are dark. They have dark feathers, very beautiful, very strong feathers. So the raven does have a certain intelligence, strength, ability. Of course, it's a bird. Agility, the element of the a bigger bird, or a bigger prey type of bird. No, the raven is as the owl or the vulture. It comes from that family of birds. No, it does carry that. I would say a lot of the bird, that part of the beak holds the wisdom. That's part of the wisdom of that bird, and it has very distinctive type of sound. The raven or the crow, no, it is saying the crow. One hears that sound of the crow. No, this is deeper sounds. it's not like a little bird because of the big, no, the bigger beak they hold, and then it's crazy sound like a bigger instrument, like a larger flute in a way, no. Then a small bird who has a very small beak, which sounds very sweet, very light. And at the same time, the sound of the crow is very strong, and one can hear it very well. It is sometimes repeated. It comes like the sound of the owl, no? The ooh, you know, you hear it, ooh, it goes different, it repeats itself. Or the cuckoo, no? The cuckoo, it goes very nicely, in a slower pace, of course. And it's like the beauty of the bird. One recognizes the bird through the sound, the same as the crow or the raven, no? They do make specific sound, which I find very beautiful. It's almost like a tackling, like it's high vibrating, no? It's deeper too, the voice. You see, well, of course, birds communicate. They have their own language. They have their own ability to communicate as well. And raven, makes me think a little bit of the sparrow element of the raven as well. The raven includes even a more little element of a tiny type of bird, no, but still a medium large. So it is more on the smaller bird size than a large bird, but they're very intelligent. And the element of the dark feathers, which of course camouflage them, gives that element of the camouflage in the night, no. I do like the sound of them. I find it very beautiful. I love so much the raven and the crow, the element in general of the birds, but I find them very special, very unique. I always like to see them. At the same time, the crow, no, it's always a little bit more distant from humans. They don't necessarily go close to humans. It's the element of the night or of the more private element of the bird. They relate to some humans, but very rarely. It is a very special bond when they relate. They are more by themselves, no? But they flock together, of course, and as birds do, and they hunt together or do other things together, no? There is the element of the more, of course. It's not that the bird is always alone. And I think from all the birds, I think the owl, no, is more the aspect of that solitude, but the beauty of the solitude as well. The owl, it's very much connected to the moonlight, or the snow, or the white, the big white owl, or they have beautiful feathers. They're one of my favorite birds. And but the crow, no, the crow is total black, no, it's the element of the color, like the darkness, that element, dark, like the carbone in Romanian. It has this element of the carbon, very dark. Which is of course very, very beautiful. And there are not so many. There are only ones who have this. Only all birds in general are more different colors combined, or more vibrant colors, but total black. Some have white and black. Some are combining these, or the pigeons have more like gray, white. Then they have the beautiful green, or the more iridescent type of colors that shines in the light. No, it's very beautiful as well. So it does speak a lot about the bird, but as I've said, the crow doesn't have that. No, the crow is, as I've said, a special type of bird. One can, of course, understand the crow in many different ways, but there is even a difference between the crow and the raven. Of course, I know that as well. They are not the same birds. They are different, but they do carry some similarities. The other aspect of the raven, I wanted to go back to the raven. No, the raven, it is more small than the crow. Same strong beak, very beautiful black feathers as well. Carries the same intelligence. No, in that way they are similar. But they are more small. The raven, it is a more small and even more agile and smart than the crow. The raven is a higher type of bird, I would describe it. Well, that's my opinion, but not necessarily to say it's not true, no? The element of the raven, it is a more smart. I would definitely call the raven more smart than the crow. and through the fact they're more small, even more agile, no? And they behave different. I think they the raven is even more hard to be spotted or to be seen. Is the element of the night of the raven, of a very agile, very strong, beautiful bird, no? Like a bird of the night. At the same time, the raven, of course, it's not only to say it is to distinguish between the element of the light or the element of the night, or of the day and the night. Yeah, in the book, the story goes to say, well, the raven represents a character in the book, no? The element of the raven, it carries those elements of the raven in different ways or different forms, no? That I created especially for the book, and then the story goes further on. I do invite you to read it. I think it's a very beautiful story. It was definitely a pleasure to write it. I love the story and the raven and the meaning beyond the book or the name raven, the raven, no? In a more like magical sense or more symbolic sense, the raven represents, of course, magic. Of course, it represents the element of the dark or the night, the hidden, no? The element of the unseen, or the ability to see in the darkness or to see in the unseen, in the meaning of, whatever that means. But the raven does, they say that has these qualities. They are developed in a different way. And so there is a certain type of understanding of the bird, no? The raven has definitely a good part of understanding, and different abilities as well as a bird, no? And in different cultures it meant, of course, different things as well. One can read in my book as well what is the meaning of the raven, or this is where it appears in history, or what it represents. It has a very beautiful story. And yeah, the book does carry that element of the storytelling, as I said, that beautiful element of the perfect storyline, or the perfect story, It's like not too much, not too short. Very well balanced, I find the book, and well written. I try to write very well the dialogue, the element of the scenes, that part of the story, that has to feel in a way like a river, has to have a certain flow for the story to be able to be told the way I want it. So of the element that goes beyond the element of language as well. There is like a deeper understanding, of course, as a writer, of the storyline, of how one wants to tell stories. So there is the element that the writer has to decide. And as I've said, I do invite you to read the story of the raven. It is a very fast, very short read. It is a story, as I said, a shorter novel, but it does carry a lot of beauty. And there are people who like to read different size books. I write smaller size book or larger manuscripts or books that I have written. It all depends on the story. It all depends, from different pages that it is the way I include it in the book as well, part of that story. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, bye.